this is a test. Yeah, this is a test. This is a test.
one, two. Check, 1, 2. Check, 1, 2. Okay. Check, 1, 2. Check 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 1, 2.
Muted from upstairs.
You want to do a mic check or we're okay?
Yeah, exactly. Don't you want to do a mic check? Go ahead.
Mic check, check one, check two, check one, check two.
He says good.
are you, Chuck? I don't know where. They didn't
Jeff
check.
told me he's sitting there.
Okay,
And
where are
he
you?
said that you and the dean are sitting there and I'm supposed to sit here.
Yeah, well, you and
Sean, sit in
we'll
the
sit
front.
wherever you
I'll be
tell
in
us.
the back.
Where are you?
But you tell
Welcome. Before we begin, we ask that you please turn off your cell phones and electronic devices. Please remain seated while the class of 2025 enters the auditorium. Good afternoon. My name is Jeffrey Putman, and I am the Vice President for Academic and Student Affairs. It is my pleasure to welcome you to our 26th annual White Coat Ceremony. Our ceremony today is proudly sponsored by the College of Medicine, and we want to especially thank the Alumni Association of the College of Medicine for their generous donation in support of this important event by purchasing the first white coats for the class of 2025. We would also like to thank the Arnold P. Gold Foundation for providing the Humanism in Medicine pin for each of the members of the class. The White Coat Ceremony is a relatively recent innovation. Dr. Arnold Gold, a neurologist on the faculty of Columbia University's College of Physicians and Surgeons, started the White Coat Ceremony tradition in 1994. Dr. Gold thought it appropriate that an oath which represents the humanism of medicine should be taken on the first day of medical school as well as the last. The White Coat Ceremony serves to welcome students to the healthcare practice and elevate the value of humanism as the core of healthcare. It provides a powerful emphasis on compassion in combination with scientific excellence. Dr. Gold was concerned that physicians were becoming more enamored with the technological aspects of medicine rather than listening to and caring for patients. The most important element of the ceremony is the oath that students take in front of family members, school leadership, and their peers to acknowledge their central obligation of caring for a patient. In 1995, the Gold Foundation expanded their sponsorship of the White Coat Ceremony to 7 other medical schools, including SUNY Downstate's College of Medicine, and we have held this ceremony every year since. The Gold Foundation reports that the White Coat Ceremony takes place at over 99% of schools of medicine in the United States and Canada, as well as osteopathic schools of medicine, and at schools in over 19 other countries. We are also proud at Downstate that we helped begin a new tradition by expanding the White Coat Ceremony to our College of Nursing, as well as our physician assistant and physical therapy programs. We are grateful and honored to have been one of the earliest institutions to partner with the Gold Foundation on White Coat ceremonies. As an example of our dedication to the mission of keeping healthcare human, our next speaker, our own president, Dr. Wayne J. Riley, is a trustee of the Gold Foundation. To bring greetings to the class of 2025 and our guests, I would like to introduce our next speaker, the 17th president of the State University of New York, Downstate Health Sciences University, Dr. Wayne J. Riley.
Thank you, Dr. Putman. Good afternoon, class of 2025. This is the first time I've been in a room with you guys since you've arrived on campus, I guess about a month ago. So I know you had a video welcome for me, but boy, this is special for me to look at your eyes and see you this morning. So again, welcome to Downstate. Class of 2025, the profession of medicine, healthcare in general, is filled with symbols. You will get to see more of the symbols as you work through the curriculum and walk through the wards of the hospitals and the clinics. But one of the first symbols that we're given as future physicians is what you're holding right now, and that's the white coat. Class of 2025, the white coat represents power and responsibility. Power and responsibility. That symbol, when you walk into a room and a patient sees you, instantly gives you credibility. But class of 2025, you have to earn that credibility by your knowledge, by your compassion, by your professionalism. And so that's why we wanted to do this. We didn't do it last year, unfortunately, because of COVID. But the dean and I said, look, we need to reactivate the white coat ceremonies because it understands the power and the symbolism of this great profession that you and I and many others have been so privileged, so privileged to have the opportunity to enter. So I welcome you this morning. I welcome your parents, your spouses, your partners, your other family members who've joined you for this very special day in your journey to becoming a physician.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. F. Charles Brunicardi, the Senior Vice President and Dean of the College of Medicine.
Thank you, Dean Putman. Good afternoon and welcome, members of the class of 2025, your families, significant others, or friends, and the Downstate administration, as well as our faculty and staff to our 26th White Coat Ceremony. You are all entering College of Medicine at a time of enormous stress, obviously during the pandemic, the greatest disaster of our lifetime. And the future of healthcare in our nation is a subject of much debate. Most importantly, you can look forward to an era of extraordinary and exciting medical discoveries and technological advances. There have been more scientific and technological advances in the past 50 years than in the entire history of the world. These advances will greatly enhance your ability to alleviate human suffering, but at the same time, you can expect to encounter a host of new medical and ethical dilemmas like the pandemic that we find ourselves in. Now, you can be assured that our faculty will do their best to prepare you to meet those challenges. It's our greatest strength at Downstate, is that we train great physicians. We have a long tradition of training physicians who are skilled not only in the diseases of the body, but also the humanity of the patient. And it's for this reason we celebrate the start of your medical education and career by giving each of you a white coat, one of the symbols of a physician's compassionate care. And it's a profound truism that the best patient care is caring for your patient. The white coat is also a way for us to welcome you as junior members of our profession. And this year, we're honored that our white coat speaker is Dr. Hassan Teta. Dr. Teta is a U.S. Navy captain, as well as an associate professor of surgery at the Uniformed Services University of the Health Sciences, as well as an adjunct professor at Howard University College of Medicine. He was selected a 2019 Emerging Leader in Health and Medicine Scholar by the National Academy of Medicine. Currently, Dr. Teta is a thoracic surgeon for MedStar Health, as well as the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. He leads a specialized thoracic adapted recovery team in Washington, D.C., and his research in thoracic transplantation aims to expand heart and lung recovery and save lives. Now, I'm delighted to say that Dr. Teta is a native of Brooklyn, New York, and he's SUNY trained. He received his Bachelor of Science from SUNY Plattsburgh and his MD degree from SUNY Downstate, as well as training in general surgery at Downstate. He pursued and received multiple advanced degrees from other prestigious institutes, such as the Harvard's Kennedy School of Government, Johns Hopkins University Carey Business School, as well as the National War College. In addition to all of these amazing accomplishments, Dr. Teta is the founder and principal of Teta Consulting Group, creator of the Art of Human Care book. There's a series of books. He's the author of several best-selling books, including Gifts of the Heart, Star Patrol, and The Art of Human Care. We're delighted to say that Dr. Teta will generously provide each of you with 2 of the books during today's ceremony. And we congratulate you, Dr. Teta, on your outstanding achievements, your brilliant career, and we're excited that the words that you will say today will inspire the audience and especially the members of the class of 2025. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Hassan Teta as our white coat speaker.
Before the Gospel according to John, and after the gospel according to Mark, is the Gospel of Luke. And the 48th verse of the 12th chapter of that gospel says this: "To whom much is given, much is asked and expected." To whom much is given, much is asked and expected. Many of you know that. You've heard that term before. But you know, if you continue to read on in that verse and chapter, it says, the more that you have all been given, the more you will be expected to repay. President Riley, Dean Brunicardi, Dr. Putman, Dr. Hill, distinguished faculty, family and friends, and especially the class of 2025, get ready to repay. Unfortunately, life does not accept Visa, MasterCard, or American Express, or Discover. Fortunately, you all have been given much. And you stand now at this moment in time with an incredible opportunity to repay, because you've all been given much. I haven't looked at your bank accounts. I don't know what you have in your pockets, but I know this. The very fact that you are here in this room right now, in the midst of a global pandemic, about to embark on probably one of the most important steps of your career, means that you have been given much. I don't need to know anything else, but the presence of you here right now speaks to that. Now, you have an opportunity to change the world for the best. And what I'd like to do is share with you how you can do that. Beginning with a story. A few years ago, I was giving a presentation of research at the World Society of Cardiothoracic Surgeons in an island called Kos, Greece. On the last day of my presentation, I went to go check out one of the big attractions of the island, which is the famed Temple of Asclepius. On this island of Kos, there are many monuments there, and the ruins of this great temple is a very special place. I went to the temple, and I climbed on top of the stairs of the ruin, and I stood there on the platform of this ruined structure. And I went back in time, 2,300 years, and recounted a story that happened at the very same place where I was standing in the year 399 BC. You see, there was a businessman in Kos. His name was Nikias. He was 39 years old, and he had a pain in his chest. He was very worried because that pain in his chest was the same pain he remembered his dad had when he was 40, just before he dropped dead. And the same pain that his father's father had at 40 as well. So at 39 years old, very upset and nervous about this pain he was experiencing, this pain he had in his chest, he summoned his son and he said, "Take me to the healing temple of Asclepius." That's where I was standing. They traveled by the best transportation of the day, oxen cart. They arrived at the stairs, and then he ascended, clutching his heart all the way up because he was short of breath and still experiencing the pain. He got to the top of the stairs right where I was standing. Now the building is gone, but right where I was standing. He rapped on the door, and before the door opened, he spied right at the end a man dressed in all white, looking very distinguished. Before he could say anything to the man, the doors opened up, and it was the healing priest. They said, "Nikias, what brings you here?" "I have a great pain in my chest. I need to get care." He said, "Well, you've come to the best place to get care. But before you enter, you must pay." Well, Nikias had a pain. He had to get treated, so he paid. It was a hefty sum, almost as tall as steep as the stairs that he just climbed. And as he entered the great healing temple with the fine marble, as a good businessman, he marveled and said, this healing must be a good business. Over the next couple of days, they took away Nicaeus' clothes. They gave him a robe. They said, "You are not to have anything to eat or drink. Your body must remain pure for the visitation of the gods so that we can determine what's wrong with you." Sacrifices were made. There were dogs and snakes in the temple. And Nicaeus asked, what are the dogs and the snakes here for? They said, "Oh, they chase away the demons and snake bites can cure." Nicaeus did not seem convinced. After a night of incredible disturbances and an inability to sleep or rest because of all of the noise and commotion within the place, the healing priest came to Nicaeus on the next day and said, "Have your dreams revealed what's wrong with you? We've made all the sacrifices. What is the problem?" Nicaeus had no answers, then neither did they. Well, we said, "They've given me the best medical care in 399 BC. Nicaeus did not feel any better. He was frustrated. He left the temple, and he descended the stairs, and as he got to the bottom of the stairs, he collapsed. Laying on his back, he looked up, and he saw the man that he saw on the first day of his encounter, dressed in all white. The man was looking down at Nicaeus and said, "Nicaeus, I'm a doctor. I'm here to help you." Nicaeus started to protest. He said, "Wait a minute, if you're a doctor, how come you're not in the healing temple there?" The doctor said, "Oh, they don't practice my kind of healing in there." The doctor was caring. He inspired trust. He took Nicaeus to his healing temple, or his healing place, rather. It was clean. There were no dogs or snakes. And then he started to ask Nicaeus questions about what he ate, about what kind of work he did, about his family, about his family's family. All questions that no one asked him in the healing temple. And then he did a thorough examination on Nicaeus. He looked deep into his eyes. He looked into his throat. He listened to his chest. And he concluded, "Nicaeus, your body is out of balance. You have blockages here and here." Nicaeus was very concerned. He said, "What can I do?" He said, "Listen, first, you must change your diet. No milk and no meat. Nothing to thicken your blood. You must eat plenty of oranges and lemons. And you must rest." "Rest? Who has time to rest?" Nicaeus said. The doctor said, "Nicaeus, if you do not do these things, you will die." And then the doctor made a cut in the wrist, and he let some blood out into the cauldron and said, "Balance has been restored. Go out and do these things that I told you." Nicaeus leaves the temple feeling better, leaves the doctor's healing place feeling better than he has in years. He goes home and he rests. He has his son doing most of the work. Now, this is a small island. Now, all of this happened right where I was standing. This was before Twitter and Instagram. So it's a small island. There were rumors spreading. And Nicaeus started to hear things that troubled him. He said, apparently someone burnt down this healing temple of Asclepius, and that's why it was ruined where I was standing. A name of the person responsible was circulating. Nicaeus recalled the name he would never forget. It was the doctor that took care of him. His name was Hippocrates. Class of 2025, what in the world does that story have to do with you guys? What starts here today can change the world. What starts here today can change the world, and you will all be responsible for it. How do I know this? Over your lifetime as a physician in America, you will see over 80 to 100,000 patient encounters. Think about that. Each of you will see 80 to 100,000 patients, no matter what your discipline. Think about the impact. You can change the world with the smallest gesture. How do I know this? I've seen it in my career. In fact, I want to share with you some words that were just sent to me by the sister of a man that I just shared some information about COVID with. And she wrote this letter. I'm just going to give you excerpts of it. Thank you so much, Dr. Tedder. I do hope everyone is as fortunate as I am to partner with you on this journey. As a fellow Brooklynite who grew up learning how to adjust and adapt on the sometimes rough and tumble Brooklyn streets, your experiences, Dr. Tedder, have resonated with me, and for that I am truly grateful. Your journey, which started in our hometown, Brooklyn, launched you across the nation and across the world with your true gift of healing, both physically and spiritually. I am so sorry for your losses. I explained to the person that I had lost some family members from COVID. And know that you will never forget your loved ones who paved the way in big and small ways. My father, Tom Trezor Sr., would have loved your message and your vision. He blessed us all with his optimism and faith that if we dug deep enough and had faith, we can emerge out of some really tough times. I hope someday to meet you, but please know what your gift to my brother Tom and then to me has meant to me. With deep appreciation, God bless you and your family. Marianne Trezor Cucciaria. What you don't know is that Marianne was suffering from long COVID. And when I shared this information to her brother, he immediately saw a way to help his sister out. And that was just an excerpt of what she wrote back. So go back to those 80,000 to 100,000 people that are your patients. She wasn't even my patient. Think about the impact that you have to change the world. Now you must be asking yourself, well, how do we do that? I'm going to give you some advice. Actually, it's not more advice as it is instructions. These instructions were learned on the streets of Brooklyn, my travels all over the world, my great professors and teachers and colleagues that have taught me along the way. But most importantly, this wisdom comes from my patients. My patients have taught me what I'm going to share with you. It's encapsulated in a mnemonic called LEARN. And what I would suggest to you is that if you listen to your patients, if you empathize with them, if you affinitize and connect your plan of care to what is ailing them, if you repeat your message and you know what their now is, you'll get there. You have two goals as students entering this great and noble profession. One is to heal and to teach the next generation how to heal. To heal and to teach the next generation how to heal. Why is that important? Because health is the most important thing in life. Ask anyone who has lost health and you will know. When I was a fellow in Minnesota, the cold winter finally got the best of me. And back then in fellowship, you were either in the hospital working, or you were in the hospital as a patient. There's no in between. Well, on this day, I was in the hospital working, but I should have been in the hospital as a patient. But I couldn't do that. So I walked to the infirmary, and when I got to the infirmary, there was this wall that I passed by almost every day, but never paid any attention to it. But I paid a special attention to it today because on that wall was inscribed something that just touched me. It pierced my soul because I was feeling very miserable. I had no health at that time. And what the word said, appropriately right outside of the infirmary, is this: when health is absent, wisdom cannot reveal itself. Art cannot manifest. Strength cannot fight. Your wealth becomes useless. Intelligence cannot be applied. Do you know who wrote those words? Because right at the end it said Herophilus of Chalcedon, who happened to be physician to Alexander the Great and a pupil of Hippocrates. That stuck with me because it meant to me that health is the most important thing. So as future healers, you are restoring, maintaining, and enhancing what is the very essence of our human existence. So you have to listen to your patients. When I was here at Downstate, I remember right here in this auditorium, one of the doctors at the time, Dr. Friedman, said, students, if you listen to your patients, they will tell you the diagnosis. If you listen to your patients, they will tell you the diagnosis. You want to change the world? Listen to your patients. They will tell you the diagnosis, and you will know what you need to do to help them. When I was an undergrad, I suffered from bacterial meningitis and almost died. At that moment, I had a doctor that took care of me that was so caring. I remember it vividly. What that experience did for me was give me empathy. I know what it feels like to be in a hospital with a tube in every orifice of your body, because that happened to me. If you want to change the world, have empathy. Put yourselves in the shoes of the patients that you're caring for. When you're talking to a patient, be careful not to use the jargon that we love to use. No ventilator-associated pneumonia, hemoglobin A1C. That stuff has no meaning to anyone except for us. If you have to tell Miss Johnson that her diabetes is out of control and that she's going to have a problem, and you start talking about hemoglobin A1C and all this other stuff, you're going to lose her. Think about how to affinitize your plan of care to what she cares about. And if you were listening and you were empathetic, it'll be easy to do. Because if you were listening, you would hear her say, my grandkids bring me joy. I love my grandkids. If you empathize with her, you would realize she has trouble getting her medication because she doesn't have a lot of money or transportation. She can't fill her prescriptions. So you could affinitize your care and say, listen, Miss Johnson, you want to see your daughter, you want to see your grandkids graduate from school? Take your insulin so you can actually walk in and see her. Now she's going to have a connection for what you're telling her is going to get her to her goal. If you want to change the world, you have to repeat your message, because it may not happen on that first time with Miss Johnson. She's thinking about how she's going to pay the bills when she gets home. And this doctor visit was nice, and you told her some cool things, but she's not going to remember that when she gets home. So you got to repeat it. And if possible, repeat it in front of her family members and maybe her grandkids so that they can help be a team in getting her better. If you want to change the world, repeat your message. You have to know what your patient's now is. Know what their now is. What do I mean by that? Patients come to you all the time with a problem, typically, and a chief complaint that someone may have written down on a paper. Please listen to the patient and empathize with them before you just go by that chief complaint. Take some time to understand what the patient's now is. Why are they here now? They have hypertension, they have high blood pressure, they have glaucoma, they have all of these chronic conditions, but why are they sitting in front of you now? Take the time to figure that out so you can address that thing that's most important to them. So you want to change the world, know what the patient's now is. I promise you, if you learn about your patients, you listen to them, you empathize with them, you affinitize your care and your plan of care to what's important to them, you repeat your message and you know what your now is, you will change the world. When I was an intern at Litch, which doesn't exist anymore apparently, I was a new intern on the floor taking care of a very sick patient that had gastric cancer. He was a Russian-speaking man, and he was going to die. And I think he knew he was going to die. He spoke no English, I spoke no Russian. But every day I would see how he interacted with his family, and his whole day would light up when his grandkids came in. And they would spend hours in the room just visiting with him, And he was in pain and he was suffering. I had to do these terrible dressing changes with an open abdomen. And he winced every time I touched him. It was just torture. But when his family was there, all of that went away. Well, after hours, after visiting hours, he was there by himself in the room, and the nurses called me in, and I was an intern by myself taking care of this patient. They said, he's not doing well. And I went in, and he didn't look like he was doing well. I didn't know a lot, but he didn't look like he was doing well. And I was anxious, and I was scared, and I said, what do I do? And I went and asked one of the nurses what to do. That was brilliant. Actually, it was very smart. So I found one of the senior nurses, and I said, what do I do? What do I do? I don't know what to do. And she said, Dr. Tedder, call his family. It's brilliant advice. I called his family, and I said, listen, it's after hours, but I think you need to come in. I don't think he's got long to go. And the nurses and I worked to keep him stable, and we started infusing fluid, and he was alive when they got there, and they visited with him, and they were there when he passed. I felt horrible. I was like, my patient died. It was my first patient that died. And the family thanked me. And I said, how could they thank me? And their dad just died. And they said, because you gave us an opportunity to spend the last moments with him. If you want to change the world, know that your patients are going to die. You're going to die. Death is not an option. But it's how you spend your time while you're alive and the things that you do in your world while you're here in service to others that will make a difference in the world. In the 1940s, there was a Jewish psychiatrist that was imprisoned in the Auschwitz concentration camp. He was number 119104. He was a psychiatrist imprisoned. He expected to die. But you know what? He had hope. And more importantly, he gave other prisoners hope. He quoted Nietzsche in his lectures to all of the prisoners, and he said, "Das, was uns nicht merken, was starker totet." That which does not kill us makes us stronger. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. This man that was facing certain death provided hope to all of these people that had none. Dr. Viktor Frankl gave us that hope. He survived the concentration camps and went on to write probably one of the best books in the world called Man's Search for Meaning. It's an example of what you must do to change the world. You must provide hope when there seems like there is none, especially when there seems like there is none. And finally, class of 2025, if you want to change the world, you have to have gratitude. Be grateful for all the people that helped you get to where you are. Write to your teachers and your mentors. Tell them about what you're doing. Tell them that you just had a white coat ceremony today. Tell them that you're starting your first rotation. Tell them that you did your first case. You are, each one of you, someone's greatest unfolding story. You are entering the most noblest profession in the world. You are going to impact the lives of teachers, moms, dads, fathers, the rich and the poor. You have to listen to your patients. You have to empathize with them. You have to affinitize with them. You have to repeat your message and know they're now. Because when you do that, your work is going to help them. It's going to help them incredibly. Through your work, their wisdom will reveal itself. Their art will manifest. Their strength will be strong to fight life's challenges. Their wealth will become useful, and they'll have the intelligence to apply it to solve the greatest challenges in our world. This work will not be easy. Let me make no mistake. The task before you is going to be really hard. But you look to your left and you look to your right, and you're going to have your support system there through your colleagues. Your faculty and all of those that are entrusted with your education are here to support you, and of course, you have your family to support you. But when you do that work, that great work, you will change the world. Congratulations.
And now, I am delighted to present to you the class of 2025. Will the following faculty members please come forward and take your places? Sophie Cristoforo, Associate Dean for Student and Curricular Affairs, will read the names of the members of the class of 2025. Dr. Jason Lazar, Vice Dean for Education, Dr. Ricardo Bianchi, Associate Dean for Foundations of Medicine, and Dr. Robin Ovich, Associate Dean of Clinical Competencies, will assist with directing students to the stage to obtain their white coats. Dr. Camille Clare, Chair of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Dr. Elka Jacobson-Dickman, Associate Dean for Clinical Medicine, and Dr. Brian McNeil, Associate Dean of Clinical Affairs, will assist us by coding the members of the class of 2025.
Mackenzie Andrews. Katrine Abulasad. Ibrahim Ahmad. Peter Arden. Jesse Aseadu. Joydeep Beda. Carlos Barreto. Ariel Ben Ezra. Safa Banani. Brian Burko. Ethan Kai. David Alexander Cano. Cassandra Carrion. Joseph Anthony Salento. Ilana Cohen. Alexia Collins. Evan Davis. Jose Delis. David Diaz. Brittany Gardner. Maggie Harmon. Rex Herzberg. Gabriel Hizami. Alvin John. Sarah Miksha Jadu. Matthew Kahn. April Kessler. Tamid Kandakar. Adithi Krishnamurthy. Migi Lee. Sandra Leskinen. Jesus Lopez. Gabriel Luce. Davin McFarlane. Ari Monas. Natalia Monsalve. Siyung Jun No. Aliyah Padilla. Radna Panda. Victoria Perone. Andrew Prasad. Sophie Queller. Zamir Rahman. Asher Rip. If you wish, yes. Eli Roan. Sally Sabin. Jacob Sabu. Mohammed Saeed. Grace Shadid. Yeah. Siddharth Sharma. Oh no, you're Natish. Natish Sinaran. You're the tough one. Tagagni Shifora. Alfred Shim. Naomi Shohet. Karambir Singh. Jolene Singh. Jonathan Snow. Samantha Torres Spiritoli. Bertarelli. Sorry about that. Fatima Udin. Anthony Valeka. Shalala Viba. Gabriel Vizcon. Salvatore Giovanni Volpi. Aaron Walt. Moshe Weber. Samuel Zabzanov. Mesa Trabilsi.
Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2025, another round of applause for them. Now we're going to do a first. For the first time in the history of SUNY Downstate Health Sciences University, we are honored to present the Oath for Teachers and Learners at SUNY Downstate Health Sciences University, which is located on the back of your program. It is my great pleasure to once again introduce the 17th President of SUNY Downstate Health Sciences University, Dr. Wayne J. Riley.
Thank you again, class of 2025. Dr. Putman and the Dean know that I've been pretty dogmatic about a couple things related to this process. And it's one, you've all heard about the Hippocratic Oath, right? We've had a raging debate behind the scenes, right, Dean, about whether we should have you recite it. I'm kind of old school, class of 2025. I've only done the Hippocratic Oath one time, and that was at my medical school graduation. And I kind of think it's appropriate for that. But with that being said, I told the team, look, let's find another oath that tightly connects the class of 2025 to those of us who are entrusted with teaching you. And so the work of Dr. Putman, to look at some other medical schools, we've come up with this oath that both we as your educators and you as our students will recite together. So as Dr. Putman said, this is our first time doing it, so you are the beta test in a sense. But if you listen to the words as you recite them, I think it really will strike a chord with you of how impactful this oath is as it prepares you in 4 short years to take the other oath that we all cherish as physicians. So class of 2025, today we ask our new students to join with our faculty in reciting an oath meant to be an explicit commitment to the ideals that we promise to uphold as part of that social contract to each other and as members of this cherished community here at Downstate. While professionalism requires more than a vow to good intentions, these vows define our responsibilities and obligations as future members of the medical profession and as SUNY Downstate medical students. Would the members of our faculty present today please stand? Will the members of the class of 2025 please stand? I ask that you read the oath printed on the back of your program following the prompts on the page. So when it says students, the students will read along with me. And when it says faculty, I will ask my colleagues to read along with me as well. We pledge to serve our patients, their families, our community, and each other with respect, integrity, competence, compassion, humility, and humanity. We hold as our ideal the care and treatment of all our patients. From them we will learn. We hold as our ideal the advancement of knowledge. Through it, disease will be understood, prevented, and cured. We hold as our ideal open-minded collaboration. To this, we are collectively committed. We hold as our ideal critical self-evaluation. Through this, we will grow. We, your faculty, promise to serve as worthy role models, as our own teachers have before us. We, your students, recognize the expertise and commitment of those for whom we learn. We promise to support your personal and professional growth in the clinic, in the laboratory, in the community, and in your own teaching. We promise to pursue responsibly in our calling to patient care, to service, and to research. We promise to maintain an environment where scientific integrity and ethical standards sustain your trust in us. We commit ourselves to the highest standards of academic honesty, scientific integrity, and ethical practice as both students and in our professional lives. We honor and embrace the SUNY Downstate Health Sciences University College of Medicine history of commitment to service to the people of the borough of Brooklyn, the city of New York, our nation, and the global community. We support its rich tradition of teaching and research excellence. We accept challenges and opportunities of those alumni whom we follow. We humbly commit to serve humanity, caring for the sick, promoting good health, and alleviating pain and suffering. We will not permit considerations of race, religion, political affiliation, sexual orientation, gender identity, disability, nationality, or social standing to influence our duty of care. We solemnly pledge our commitment to this oath and our assistance to others who pledge the same. Congratulations, class of 2025.
This concludes our 26th annual White Coat Ceremony. Will the members of the audience please remain in their seats while the class of 2025 exits? Thank you.
welcome.
Welcome. Before we begin, we ask that you please turn off your cell phones and electronic devices. Please remain seated while the class of 2025 enters the auditorium. Once again, good afternoon. My name is Jeffrey Putman, and I am the Vice President for Academic and Student Affairs. It is my pleasure to welcome you to our 26th annual White Coat Ceremony. Our ceremony today is proudly sponsored by the College of Medicine, and we want to especially thank the Alumni Association of the College of Medicine for their generous donation in support of this important event by purchasing the first white coats for the class of 2025. We would also like to thank the Arnold P. Gold Foundation for providing the Humanism and Medicine pin for each of the members of the class. The White Coat Ceremony is a relatively recent innovation. Dr. Arnold Gold, a neurologist on the faculty of Columbia University's College of Physicians and Surgeons, started the White Coat Ceremony tradition in 1994. Dr. Gold thought an appropriate oath, which represents the humanism of medicine, should be taken at the beginning of medical school as well as at the end. The White Coat Ceremony serves to welcome students to the healthcare practice and to elevate the value of humanism as the core of healthcare. It provides a powerful emphasis on compassion in combination with scientific excellence. Dr. Gold was concerned that physicians were becoming more enamored with technological aspects of medicine rather than listening to and caring for patients. The most important element of the ceremony is the oath that students take in front of family members, school leadership, and their peers to acknowledge their central obligation of caring for the patient. In 1995, the Gold Foundation expanded their sponsorship of the White Coat Ceremony to 7 medical schools, including SUNY Downstate's College of Medicine, and we have held this ceremony ever since. The Gold Foundation reports that the White Coat Ceremony takes place at over 99% of schools of medicine in the United States and Canada, as well as at osteopathic schools of medicine, and at schools in over 19 other countries. We're also proud that at Downstate we helped begin a new tradition by expanding our White Coat Ceremony to our College of Nursing, as well as our physician assistant and physical therapy programs. We are grateful and honored to have been one of the earliest institutions to partner with the Gold Foundation on White Coat Ceremonies. As an example of our dedication to the mission of keeping healthcare human, our next speaker and our own president, Dr. Wayne J. Riley, is a trustee of the Gold Foundation. To bring greetings to the class of 2025 and our guests, I would like to introduce our next speaker, the 17th president of the State University of New York, Downstate Health Sciences University, Dr. Wayne J. Riley.
Thank you, Dr. Putman. Class of 2025, I finally get to see you. Welcome. I know you've been welcomed here back in August by our terrific dean and our faculty, but it's my honor to welcome you to SUNY Downstate Health Sciences University, to this College of Medicine, and to the profession of medicine for which you have entered. Class of 2025, the profession of medicine and all the health sciences are replete with symbols. You've already begun to learn some of those symbols in your classes thus far over the last month or so. But this one today is a very, very special symbol, the white coat. And when I think about my own career, I'm an internist, a specialist in internal medicine. I can remember distinctly the times in my professional career when I walked into the hospital and I put on the coat and how different it made me feel. It made me feel not important, but it made me feel that I had a responsibility, that it made me understand the power that being a physician has in our society, and that power and responsibility can never, never, ever be taken for granted. So this white coat that you will be getting officially in a little while is a major symbol in your life as a physician, and a reminder on a daily basis when you put it on, your obligation to take care of human beings. You know, I often say that what we do here at Downstate is we're in the people business. We're in the training of people like you to be physicians, the training of nurses, physical therapists, occupational therapists, medical informaticists, biomedical scientists, public health advocates. You are in the people business. And there's nothing that you will ever do in your life that will be as fulfilling as the work that you will undertake as a physician. And I tell folks all the time, I can't wait to put my feet on the floor in the morning, because I have loved being a physician from the day I got my diploma in that wonderful warm day in May so many years ago. I won't tell you how many. But be that as it may, think about the white coat in terms of its power and, more importantly, its responsibility it confers on you as a worthy successor to all of us in the great profession of medicine. Congratulations.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. F. Charles Brunicardi, Senior Vice President and Dean of the College of Medicine.
Thank you, Dean Putman. Good afternoon and welcome, members of the class of 2025, your family, significant others or friends, and of course, our Downstate administration, faculty, and staff to our 26th White Coat ceremony. You are entering the College of Medicine at a time of great stress during the pandemic, the worst medical crisis of our lifetime. And the future of healthcare in our nation is the subject of much debate. But most importantly, you can look forward to an era of extraordinary and exciting medical discoveries and technological advances. There have been more scientific and technological advances in the past 50 years than in the entire history of the world. And these advances will greatly enhance your ability to alleviate human suffering. But at the same time, you can expect to encounter a host of new medical and ethical dilemmas like the pandemic. Now, I'm proud to say that our faculty will do a great job to prepare you to meet those challenges. One of the great strengths of Downstate is the doctors that we train. We have a long tradition of training physicians who are skilled in treating not just the diseases of the body, but also the humanity of our patients. And for this reason, we celebrate the start of your medical education and career by giving each of you a white coat, one of the symbols of a physician's compassionate care. And as a profound truism that the best patient care is when you care for your patient. The white coat is also a way for us to welcome you as junior members of our profession. And so congratulations. This year, we're honored and delighted that our white coat speaker is Dr. Hassan Teta. Dr. Teta is a U.S. Navy captain, associate professor of surgery at the Uniformed Services University of the Health Sciences, as well as an adjunct faculty at Howard University of Medicine. He was selected a 2019 Emerging Leader in Health and Medicine Scholar by the National Academy of Medicine. Currently, Dr. Teta is a thoracic surgeon for MedStar Health and Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. He leads a specialized thoracic adapted recovery team in Washington, D.C., and his research in thoracic transplantation aims to expand heart and lung recovery and save lives. Dr. Teta is a native of Brooklyn. He received his education at SUNY. His BS degree was from SUNY Plattsburgh, and his MD was from SUNY Downstate. And I'm delighted to say that he trained in general surgery at Downstate as well. He pursued and received multiple advanced degrees from other prestigious institutions such as the Harvard Kennedy School of Government, the Johns Hopkins University Carey Business School, and the National War College. Dr. Teta, in addition to all of his incredible accomplishments, is the founder and principal of the Teta Consulting Group, the creator of the Art of Human Care book series, as well as a best-selling author of several books, including Gifts of the Heart, Star Patrol, and The Art of Human Care. It's wonderful to let you all know that Dr. Teta will generously provide each of you with a copy of 2 of these books during today's ceremony. And they're really beautifully written books and beautifully illustrated by his daughter. So we congratulate you, Dr. Teta, on your outstanding achievements and your brilliant career. And we know that your words will inspire all of us today, especially the class of 2025. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Hassan Teta as our white coat speaker.
Good afternoon. Before the Gospel according to John and after the Gospel according to Mark is the Gospel according to Luke. And the 48th verse of the 12th chapter of that Gospel says, "To whom much is given, much is expected." Some of you have read that. Most people have heard that before, but what you probably don't know is that if you continue to read beyond that verse, it says, the more one has been entrusted or given, the more he or she will be expected to repay. President Riley, Dean Brunacardi, Dr. Putman, distinguished faculty, friends and family, and especially the class of 2025. Get ready to repay. Unfortunately, life does not accept Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover. But fortunately, you have an opportunity before you to change the world and to repay through the service in the career that you are about to embark upon. Now, I can tell that you all have been given a tremendous amount. Your very presence here, as the dean said, in the midst of a global pandemic means that not only are you alive and healthy enough to sit here, but you're about to start a career at a time of a global crisis where everybody knows the importance of health. The responsibility is great, but you've been given a lot, and you'll have a lot to repay. I'll share a story. A few years ago, I was giving a lecture at the World Society of Cardiothoracic Surgery in a small Greek island called Kos. At the end of the time of my presentation, I took a trip to this famous landmark on the island of Kos called the Healing Temple of Asclepius. This temple is very famous, and so I climbed the stairs and I stood there among the ruins of this famous temple, and I thought back to something that happened in the very spot where I was standing 2,300 years before the time of I'm standing there. In the year 399 BC, there was a businessman named Zacchaeus in the island of Kos that had a great pain in his chest. And he was very concerned because this pain in his chest was the same pain that his father had at the age of 40, just before he collapsed and died. It was also the same pain that his father's father had at the age of 40, just before he died. So at 39 years old, Zacchaeus summoned his son and said, "Take me to the healing temple of Asclepius," where I was standing. They arrived at the healing temple by the best means of transportation at the time, oxen cart. He climbed the long stairway up, clutching his chest, out of breath by the time he got to the top. And just before he rapped on the door, he noticed just to the side that there was a man standing there wearing all white. They connected. No words were exchanged, however. And then the door opened, and it was the healing priest greeting Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus said, I have a pain in my chest. I've come to the best place to get medical care in 399 BC. The healing priest said, we can help, but first you must pay. Zacchaeus paid because his pain was getting worse. He entered the temple, and upon looking at the splendid marvel, said to himself, this healing must be a good business. Over the next 2 days, they took Zacchaeus' clothes and they gave him a robe. They said nothing to eat or drink. Sacrifices were made. There were dogs and snakes in the temple. Zacchaeus asked about the presence of these dogs and snakes, and the healing priest said, they chase away the demons, and snake bites can cure. They also said, your dreams and visitation will give us the answers to your problem, and we'll be able to provide a cure. The next day, they came to visit. Unfortunately, Zacchaeus was disturbed all through the night. He was unable to rest. There were all kinds of noises and disturbances coming from the dogs and the snakes and all of the different folks that were in there making trouble. He was unable to rest. When the healing priests came to the side of Zacchaeus and they said, have your dreams revealed what's wrong with you? He said, no. He said, well, we provided the very best care in 399 BC that we can to you. We've done our sacrifices. The dogs and snakes were here. You must go. Zacchaeus left frustrated, and he descended to the stairs and collapsed right at the bottom. I was standing in this temple, and I'm thinking about this scene right now. As Zacchaeus was laying on his back, he looked up, and there he saw that man that was dressed in all white. He was standing over Zacchaeus, and he said, Zacchaeus, I'm a doctor. I will help you. Zacchaeus starts to protest and said, if you're a doctor, how come you're not in that healing temple? The doctor said, oh, they don't practice my kind of healing and medicine in that healing temple. The man comforted Zacchaeus. He inspired trust. He took Zacchaeus to his healing place. It was clean. There were no snakes or dogs. And then he thoroughly examined Zacchaeus, all the while asking him questions about what he did for a living, what he ate, what his parents did, what their parents did. He looked deep into his eyes. He looked in his throat. He listened to his chest. And then he said, you have a body that is out of balance, Zacchaeus. You have blockages here and here. Zacchaeus said, what must I do? The doctor said, first, you must change your diet. No milk and no meat. Nothing that thickens the blood. You must eat much citrus fruits. Lemons and oranges are best. And most of all, Zacchaeus, because you are so stressed at work and the business is killing you, you must rest. And Zacchaeus starts to laugh and says, rest? Who has time to rest? The doctor says, if you do not do these things, you will die. And then the doctor takes a blade and he makes an incision and let the blood fall into the cauldron, saying, balance is restored. Go home. Zacchaeus leaves the healing place of the doctor feeling better than he has in a long time. Once he's at home, he hears rumors swirling. See, this is a very small island, Kos. Before Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, there was a means to communicate was just spread by word of mouth. He's hearing something. There's a scandal. Someone's burned down the temple. And as they were recounting who the suspect might be, Zacchaeus says, I recognize that name. He would never forget the doctor that took care of him, that inspired trust, that was so caring. His name was Hippocrates. What in the world does a story like that have to do with you guys? Because what starts here today can change the world. What you are about to do right now and for the rest of your career will have an impact on the entire world. You seem doubtful. Let me explain. Each one of you, over the course of your career, will have 80,000 to 100,000 patient encounters. To quote a little Brooklyn, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people over a 20-year career. Each one of you will have an opportunity to change positively the life of that individual. 80,000 to 100,000. There's a class of 200 strong here, plus. Do the math. That's 1 million people easy. Go a generation further, that's 1 billion. A generation again, that's another. I have proof that you will change the world, even by the smallest act. I want to share with you a letter that I received after I shared just a little bit of information to someone who was asking about COVID. Thank you so much, Dr. Tedder. And I do hope everyone is as fortunate as I am to partner with you on this journey. As a fellow Brooklynite who grew up learning how to adjust and adapt on the sometimes rough and tumble Brooklyn streets, your experiences, Dr. Tedder, have resonated with me, and for that I am truly grateful. Your journey, which started in our hometown, Brooklyn, launched you across the nation and across the world with your true gift of healing both physically and spiritually. I am so sorry for your losses. I explained to the gentleman that I had some family members that died last year due to COVID. And know that you will never forget your loved ones who paved the way in big and small ways. My father, Tom Trezor Sr., would have loved your message and your vision. He blessed us all with his optimism and faith that if we dug deep enough and had faith, we can emerge out of some really tough times. I hope someday to meet you, but please know what your gift to my brother Tom and then to me has meant to me. With deep appreciation, God bless you and your family, Marianne Trezor Cucciaria. You see the ripple effect? Not even my patient. Just a small act. Multiply that 100-fold, 1,000,000-fold. You all have a power and a responsibility to change the world. And you have no excuse. Because in 1998, when I graduated from medical school, I'll tell you when I graduated, this was a long time ago, Dr. Frukat won the Nobel Peace Prize for nitric oxide, the discovery of nitric oxide. Back then, those of us that were in medical school had to go to the library and use something called the Dewey Decimal System to look up something, to find a book that we needed to find a piece of information to answer a question. I won't tell you how long that took. Today, you guys don't have to use that anymore. Back then, Google, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook weren't even invented yet. Today, all you guys have to do is Google it. So you have no excuse to change the world. Absolutely none. So how are you going to do it? I'm going to share some instruction with you, some thoughts about how you could go about changing the world. It's enveloped in a mnemonic I like to call LEARN. L-E-A-R-N, learn. I will posit to you that in addition to learn, you have two awesome responsibilities ahead of you. Number one is to heal. And number two is to teach the next generation to heal. Why is health so important? It's because without health, there's nothing else that matters. I know this firsthand. And anyone that's been truly sick and infirm knows this firsthand. Everything else doesn't matter once you're not healthy. And during my fellowship in Minnesota, I was really, really sick. The winters of Minnesota got to me. And I had to go to the infirmary. See, back then, in fellowship, we had a mantra. You were either in the hospital working, or you were either in the hospital as a patient. There was no in between. So I went to the infirmary to try and get better, because I was in the hospital working. And I walked past this infirmary almost every day. But for this particular time, because I wasn't feeling well, the quote that was boldly placed on the wall just struck me first time ever. And I actually stopped and paused and paid attention to what it said. And it said, when health is absent, wisdom cannot reveal itself. Art cannot manifest. Strength cannot fight. Wealth becomes useless, and intelligence cannot be applied. And at the bottom, the person that had those wise words was quoted as Herophilus of Chalcedon, physician to Alexander the Great, and pupil of Hippocrates. You see, health is really important because without health, none of those other things matter. That's what you're entrusted to do and deliver, health, and also to teach the next generation. When I was in downstate, right here on this stage, one of the professors told us that if you listen to your patient, if you truly listen to your patient, they will tell you the diagnosis. That has been proven true every time that I've actually listened to the patient. So if you want to change the world, think about being a healer and teaching the next generation of healers. Listen to your patients. Because if you listen to your patients, truly listen to your patients, they'll tell you the diagnosis. When I was an undergrad, unfortunately came down with a significant infection, bacterial meningitis, and almost died. I spent several weeks in the hospital, and during that time, I had a tube stuck in every orifice of my body. That experience taught me something called empathy. And to this day, when I see patients in the bed and I see patients in the ICU, I put myself in their shoes because I know what that feels like. The vulnerability, feeling scared, uncertain about what was going to happen, and actually thinking about your own death. If you want to change the world, have empathy for your patients. Put yourself in their shoes. Try to imagine yourself in their circumstance and situation. If you want to change the world, you have to listen to your patient. You have to empathize with them. We in medicine love these big words, and we often use them sometimes on our patients, which is really not a good idea. Hemoglobin A1C, ventilator-associated pneumonia. Your patients may not know what any of that means. If you want to change the world, you have to learn how to affinitize and connect your plan of care and your instruction to that patient to what they can appreciate and connect with. If you have Miss Johnson seeing you, and she's diabetic and has hypertension, and every time she comes to see you, her sugar is out of control. Her hemoglobin A1C is 9 or 10, and you keep telling her this. Your hemoglobin A1C is really high, and you don't really listen to what's important to her. You miss an opportunity. Because if you would have listened to her and just asked her a question like, what's important to you, Mrs. Johnson? Certainly not a hemoglobin A1C. And she says, Doc, I love my grandkids. I can't wait to go see them. Now you have something to affinitize your plan of care to her. Now you come up with a plan to make her be able to see her grandkids go to high school or college or even come to medical school. So now you think to yourself, you know what, Miss Johnson? If you don't take your insulin and go get your medication, you might not be around to see that grandkid. If you want to change the world, learn how to affinitize and understand what your patient is really going through so you can connect your plan of care specifically to that patient and personalize it for them so that they understand it. It may not be enough to do that one time. You have to repeat it. So if you want to change the world, repeat your plan of care, and if possible, bring in other family members too. Share that with her grandkids. Share that with her family members. You might come to find out that they don't have the means to go get the medication. And now you have an opportunity to help them to become more aligned with that plan of care, and it can all come together in a real partnership. If you want to change the world, you have to know what your patient is dealing with in the moment. When you look at the chart and your patient comes in with a chief complaint that they usually told somebody else while they're getting triaged, don't take that as the only reason why they're there. Learn to understand what your patient's now is. Why are they here today? Why are they here right now? It's important to do that. And I promise you, if you learn about your patients, if you listen, you empathize, you affinitize your plan of care and connect it to what their most important problem is. You repeat your plan of care and you understand and know what their now is, you'll be able to change the world. How do I know this? Because I've used this construct in action. When I was an intern, I was a brand new intern. I was on a surgical service taking care of an advanced stage stomach cancer patient who happened to be Russian speaking. Unfortunately, I spoke no Russian, and he spoke no English. Every day I would listen to the interactions that he had with his family. He loved his grandchildren. His face would light up when they came into the room. And he enjoyed that time so much. When I changed his dressings, he would wince at every motion of changing those bandages. And he was in so much pain. And I think he knew he didn't have long to live, and I knew he didn't have long to live. And one night I was on call, and his family had left, and I was alone with him and the other patients that I was caring for, and I recognized that he did not look good. I didn't know a lot back then, but I knew he didn't look good. And I didn't know what to do. I asked one of the nurses for advice. I said, "What can I do?" And she said, "Call his family, Dr. Teta." It was brilliant advice. I called his family, and I said, "He's not doing well. You need to come in." And during that time, before his family got there, we tried to keep him alive and just going until they got there. They got there, and they were with him when he passed. I felt horrible. It was the worst day of my life. I lost my patient as an intern. And while I was just reflecting on how terrible this was, his family came to me and said, "Thank you." How could they thank me when their loved one just died? And it was because inadvertently I understood what was important to all of them by learning about him. That moment that they had was priceless because they were there when he passed. If you want to change the world, you have to understand that death is not an option. Every one of us in this room is going to die. When I was in Afghanistan and we deployed with the coalition forces, I had one of the British doctors that would have their dry sense of humor. And they said, "The problem with you Americans is that you think that death is an option." It's not. But what I learned about that incident is that you have to make the most of your time while you're on earth. And it's the time that you have in service to others that will make the biggest difference. You have to provide hope. In 1940, there was a Jewish psychiatrist that was imprisoned in the Auschwitz concentration camp. He was number 119104. And he expected to die just like all of his other colleagues that were imprisoned with him. As a psychiatrist, he tried to instill hope and encouragement. He quoted Nietzsche, "Das, was uns nicht merken, was starker totet," which means that which does not kill us makes us stronger. He encouraged all of them to have hope because they were still alive. And even though they could tell what was going to happen, and they saw what was going to happen, and they knew what was going to happen, he inspired them to still be hopeful, to serve in fellowship, and provide a little glimmer of hope. And in that process, he and many of his fellow imprisoned people survived. That person, that doctor, was Dr. Viktor Frankl. He went on to give us logotherapy and write perhaps one of the best books ever written, Man's Search for Meaning. If you want to change the world, you have to give hope, even when hope is fleeting or it seems like there's no hope, especially to your patients, especially to your dying patients, because they may just need a little bit of hope, and their families may just need a little bit of hope just so they can get to that point where they're together during that very critical time. And finally, if you want to change the world, you have to have something called gratitude. You are sitting in these seats with a huge responsibility, an awesome power to change the world. You are privileged to be able to do the work that you are about to do. It is an absolute privilege that you're about to embark upon. Every day you wake up, you have an opportunity to change the world for the positive. You have an opportunity every single day to help patients. You have an opportunity every single day so that patients, their wisdom can be revealed, so that art can be manifest, so that they have strength to fight by giving them health, so that their wealth becomes useful, and so that intelligence can be applied. And if you apply those principles of learning about your patients, you'll be able to give patients the opportunity to see their grandchildren grow up, to see their grandkids fulfill their dreams, for parents to see their kids ideally graduate from medical school and save lives. So to the class of 2025, I congratulate you on the awesome responsibility that you are about to embark upon. But no, it won't be easy. And to your left and to your right, you have your colleagues and your friends that will become lifelong support systems and people that can help you throughout the challenges and the dark days and hard times ahead, but also celebrate with you the many successes that you all will have through the lives that you save and the impact that you'll have on your world. And you're also so fortunate to have your distinguished faculty, a president, your dean, and your leader in student affairs to give you the knowledge that you need. And behind you, you have the support of your family and your friends to be with you along the way. Congratulations on the journey ahead, and I look forward to all that you will do to change the world for the better.
Thank you, Dr. Teta, for those amazing words for the class of 2025. And now, I am delighted and honored to present to you the class of 2025. Will the following faculty members please come forward and take your places? Sophie Cristoforo, Associate Dean for Student and Curricular Affairs, will read the names of the members of the class of 2025. Dr. Jason Lazar, Vice Dean for Education, Dr. Ricardo Bianchi, Associate Dean for Foundations of Medicine, and Dr. Robin Ovich, Associate Dean of Clinical Competencies, will assist with directing students to the stage to obtain their white coats. Dr. Camille Clare, Chair of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Dr. Elka Jacobson-Dickman, Associate Dean for Clinical Medicine, and Dr. Brian McNeil, Associate Dean for Clinical Affairs, will assist us by coding the members of the class of 2025.
Glenn Alvarez Arias. Mina Abomalik. Mohammed Abdi. Do you have your card? Oh, it's okay, don't worry. Are you Dua? Okay. Dua Abedin. Mohammed Afak. Joya Ahmad. It's staying. It's okay. Tahina Ahmed. Sanya Ahmed. Shamsul Alam. Francisco Andrade. Rachel Baum. Simon Belito. Haley Carabello. Christian Caravaglia. Juan Sebastian Carrero Munoz. Karina Carrington. Kunika Chahal. Luana Chan. Jesse Chan. Derek Chatat. Rahul Chaudhry. Sahil Chaudhry. Felicia Chen. Kei Chang Chen. Noshin Chaudhry. Ahmad Chaudhry. Ruby Chung. Natalie Cipriano. Timothy Cook. Isabella Sophia Corridor. Jimmy Clayton Council. Yesha Desai. Faisal Elali. Ali El Sayed. Okay. MD Fuhim. Julia Felsenstein. Lara Finnerty Haggerty. Eve Frangopoulos. Vanathy Ganeshan. Louis David Garcia. Alejo Gomez. Juanita Gomez. Amari Gomez. Susan Gong. Kelly Gorman. Davane Green. Azaya Green. Carla Hachicho. Amar Hamid. Mohammed Habzain. Jesse Hahn. Zayad Hassan. Yeah. Mohammed Hiba. Suzarwe Nin. Brian Huang. Bruno Ifebi. Zainab Jamil. Carl Frederick Jovenet. Janvier. Christopher Johnson. Margaret Kabakova. Sonia Kalani. Rafael Anastasios Kiru. Maximilian Daishel Kang. Eva Christofferson. Emanuela Laguerre. Derek Lau. Edward Lee. Sharon Lee. Sarah Lee. Andy Lee. Am I doing it too fast? Jaemin Lee. Anna Lieberman. Just Grace, okay. Grace Liu. Nubil Mahmoud. Caitlin Martins. Rohan Mather. Megan Maynard. Denise Menez. Mermin Mian. Astrid Alexis Mon Premier. Malika Morris. Sabrina Mohana. Manahil Munib. Lauren Namkun. Patrick Pauhau Neon. God's Time Wata Ugwabu. Shanice Ogaro. Amber Okoye. Claire O'Laughlin. Sanjada Patwari. Claire Peabody. LaShawn Honorio Pena. Ganesh Faiyal. Harriet Pryor. Tasmia Janeth Promi. Melissa Ramirez. Tahir Ramzan. Saad Rahman. Nicole Shiraldi. Julian Sherman. Hai Wan Shin. Abhavir Singh. Toby Samorin. Lee Hao Song. Tyler Spoor. Stella Tang. Ahmed Fanebat. Joel Thomas. Rochelle Thompson. Spencer Thompson. Andrea Tronchina. Kalechi Umuna. Sarah Yustuvev. Alice Varghese. Rebecca Varghese. Tiffany Voon. Lucy Way. Derek Way. Laura Wilch. Taylor Wang. Jacqueline Shu. Okay. Moiste Yadola Hikalas. Blairam Kukovic. Claire Yin. Paul Zacharin. Zacharpine. Ping Ping Zhang. Sophia Zweig. Amanda Onochenko. Sona Shah. Anthony James. There you are. Sotirio Strenis.
You're too quiet. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2025. One more thing to do. And now we're going to have a first. For the first time in the history of SUNY Downstate Health Sciences University, we're honored to present the Oath for Teachers and Learners at SUNY Downstate Health Sciences University, which is located on the back of your program. It is my great pleasure to once again introduce the 17th President of SUNY Downstate Health Sciences University to lead you in the oath, Dr. Wayne J. Riley.
Congratulations again, class of 2025. You know, I was just thinking, in a mere 3.8 years, you will stand before your family, your friends, our faculty, and recite the Hippocratic Oath. But today, we're going to recite a new special oath that we think is more appropriate for the occasion. And that oath will tie you as our students and we as your professors and teachers together in a commitment to enhance each other's work. You as future doctors of medicine, those of us who are basic scientists and physicians who teach future doctors of medicine. So as Dr. Putman said, this oath is on the back of the program. And so today we ask all of our class of 25 to join in with our faculty in reciting an oath meant to be an explicit commitment to the ideals that we promise to uphold as part of that social contract and to each other as members of this downstate community. Now, while professionalism requires more than a vow to good intentions, class of 2025, these vows define our responsibilities and obligations as future members, for you as future members of our medical profession, as Downstate Health Sciences University medical students. Now, would the members of our faculty who are present please stand to join with me? And now will all of you, the class of 2025, please stand. I ask that you read the oath printed on the back of your program, as I mentioned before, following the prompts on the page. So when it says students, the students will read along with me. And when it says faculty, I will ask my faculty colleagues to read along with me. As follows. We pledge to serve our patients, their families, and our community, and each other with respect, integrity, competence, compassion, humility, and humanity. We hold as our ideal the care and treatment of all of our patients. From them we will learn. We hold as our ideal the advancement of knowledge. Through it, disease will be understood, prevented, and cured. We hold as our ideal open-minded collaboration. To this we are collectively committed. We hold as our ideal critical self-evaluation. Through this we will grow. We, your faculty, promise to serve as worthy role models, as our own teachers have before us. We, your students, recognize the expertise and commitment of those from whom we learn. We promise to support your personal and professional growth in the clinic, in the laboratory, in the community, and in your own teaching. We promise to pursue responsibly in our calling to patient care, to be service, and to research. We promise to maintain an environment where scientific integrity and ethical standards sustain your trust in us. We commit ourselves to the highest standards of academic honesty, scientific integrity, ethical practice as both students and in our professional lives. We honor and embrace the SUNY Downstate Health Sciences University College of Medicine history of commitment to service of Brooklyn, to the city of New York, our nation, and the global community. We support its rich tradition of teaching and research excellence. We accept the challenges and opportunities of those alumni whom we follow. We humbly commit to serve humanity, caring for the sick, promoting good health, and alleviating pain and suffering. We will not permit considerations of race, religion, political affiliation, sexual orientation, gender identity, disability, or social standing to influence our duty of care. We solemnly pledge our commitment to this oath and our assistance to others who pledge the same. Congratulations, class of 2025.
Congratulations again. This concludes our 26th annual White Coat Ceremony. Will the members of the audience please remain in their seats while the class of 2025 exits first, followed by the audience. Thank you.
Good job. Very good job. Thank you. Excellent. And so after, they just have like a little reception.
Well, it's not even a reception. We gave them a to-go pastries, cookie, and
okay, so like to-go thing, yeah. Okay.
Because
we didn't want to hang it up. Thank you, Dr. Clark. Thank you all. Thank you. Great job.
It worked better this time.
Great job.
I gave them the instructions.
Thank you, Frisbee.
To come to the last person. You got more customers. By the way.
His son just got back from Iraq. Did he tell you? He showed me a picture. Yeah, I just got back. He was there. Yeah, he was there. So I'm glad he's back safely.
Yeah, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was exhausting.
All right, take
a
care.
couple of weeks.
It's so heart-wrenching to see all the I don't know what to think. I mean, I'm sure you maybe or maybe not have conversations about it, but I talk to my buddies about it. I don't know. We don't have a consensus. It's just
He said it was total chaos. He said there was no one leading. There was like nothing. They had no equipment. The cars were all abandoned on the runway, so all the people that fled, I guess in their private planes, left their cars running. So the first thing they did is they cut through all the vehicles, so they had vehicles. So the 82nd Airborne was sent in to get control. And yeah, so it was just